It's that time of the day where I bring you another edition of Ipman Today. Remember, Ipman Today is the flagship television show of Ipman, and Ipman is the acronym for the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria. This is NTA, the largest network in all of Africa, your favorite TV network. On today's edition of Ipman Today, we'll begin with the verdict as always. And on today's edition of the verdict, the national president of Ipman, that is Alhaji Abubakar Migani Shetima, will be talking to us on how Nigeria's economy can be improved. No doubt, Ipman are critical stakeholders in Nigeria's economy, and the national president is optimistic that our economy can be massively improved and lives can be made much better for Nigerians. But how does he think this can happen? So he has some bullet points he intends to share with you on this episode of the verdict on Ipman Today. Now, right after that conversation with the national president of Ipman on the verdict, I'll take you to a brief conversation I had with the national president of the Nigerian Association of Road Transport Owners. Now, on this brief conversation, he will be talking to us on how to further nip the ugly menace of fuel tanker explosions in Nigeria. Remember, last week we talked about this with the national president of Ipman, and on today's edition, I'll bring you the thoughts of the national president of NARTO, that is the Nigerian Association of Road Transport Owners. He will bear in his mind on how this ugly menace can be erased from Nigeria completely. And right after that conversation with the national president of the NARTO, I'll take you over to CNG Roundup by Tetraco Energy Group. Now, guess what? Something very, very interesting is happening on today's edition of CNG Roundup by Tetraco Energy Group. But I'll not let the cat out of the bag till that time. But for now, I'll just tell you that the guest on today's edition of CNG Roundup will be Justin Eyimba. Now, this guy is the manager of technical services at the Tetraco Energy Group, and he'll be talking to us about CNG-powered vehicles and how beneficial they are to Nigerians. Now, we don't want to miss this conversation for anything else, because CNG is the way to go in all of these increment or pump prices in Nigeria. You should embrace CNG, and the national president has some thoughts also to share on CNG. Now, my name is Afam Okone. This is Ipman Today. I'll be back on the other side with the verdict. Welcome back from that short break. I'll take you over now to the verdict on Ipman Today with the national president of Ipman, Alhaji Abubakar Shetima. He's talking to us on how Nigeria's economy can be improved using Ipman as a reference point. Let's go. Hello, you're welcome to today's edition of the verdict on Ipman Today, and the conversation will center on a whole lot of issues. And with the national president as usual, Mr. President, you're welcome to today's edition of the verdict on Ipman Today.
Yeah, welcome, Mr. Afan.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
You are the president of Ipman, and Ipman is a very, very critical organization in Nigeria. Today, we're looking at how Ipman can contribute to lifting Nigeria out of this economic situation we are in presently. What do you think are those ways that Ipman can contribute effectively, sir, to making Nigeria a better economy?
Really, what you have said is true. We independent petroleum marketers, if we can be able to get the support of the government, we can be able to do a lot in terms of changing Nigerian economy.
Okay.
Just for example now, as Mr. President has done his best, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to bring this program of CNG, or generally green energy.
Okay.
If independent petroleum marketers are being carried along with assistance, definitely all our filling stations in the whole nation, we can be able to introduce CNG inside our filling station. At the same time, combustion. Okay. That is, in terms of combustion kits, we went to a situation whereby the government will give us a reduction in price.
Okay. That's
to our members, combustion kits to our members. Since we have so many retail outlets in the country, we can be able to start converting the vehicles.
In your retail outlets?
In our retail outlets. And if the government can assist the independent petroleum marketers with a single digit loan, that one too will help. Because to carry a project of CNG is capital intensive. Therefore, we need an assistance from the government so that we can be able to reduce the pressure of the way people has been buying PMS or other petroleum product. Because with the CNG as a source of energy, which is cheaper, so if people are using it, there would be a serious reduction in transportation cost. And immediately when there are reduction in petroleum, in transportation cost, you may find a situation whereby you will see the food items and the rest of them will reduce. The price will reduce.
True, because part of the reasons why food items are expensive is an offshoot of the transportation cost that has increased recently. But you talked about loans, single-digit loan. So what will your members use these loans to do? Is it just only...
No, when we get these loans, we can be able to have a daughter stations inside our filling station. At the same time, we can be able to do some mother station based on the geopolitical zones of the country. So that from there, our members can be able to have a source of this CNG to our filling stations. Either government give us a loan or the government can select some filling stations. Let me cite an example.
Go ahead.
Maybe they may select like 50 filling stations in Abuja, Lagos, 50 filling stations, Kano, 50 filling station, Port Harcourt, 50 filling station. Then other parts of the country, they may select maybe 10 to install these daughter stations. And we are not saying free of charge. Even if they will give us in such a way that we may be paying that money installment, that is with a single digit rate, so that we can be able to utilize it.
Okay, for the sake of some of our viewers who are watching this program today and they are wondering what exactly do we mean by daughter stations and how will daughter stations actually help? But there's a need for us to define what daughter stations are. Can you do that for us?
Well, you know, the daughter station is a station whereby we can be able to install our product, CNG, inside and sell to the motorist.
Directly?
Directly.
Okay.
Yes, that is what is called daughter stations.
Then what about the mother stations?
The mother station is the station that they will convert the natural gas to CNG. Whereby through that place we can be able to carry the CNG, then carry it back to our daughter stations.
In your retail outlets.
It's just like a small refinery for CNG.
Okay, but how many mother stations or daughter stations do we have presently in Nigeria? Do you have an idea?
Well, you know, with the coming of these presidential directives on the CNG, I think now we have almost getting to 117 daughter filling stations in the country.
Stations?
Yes.
And I mean, we are over 200 million Nigerians.
Yes.
I don't think 100 daughter stations
it's too small.
It's too small.
That is the reason why the government has to partner with the independent petroleum marketers, because already they have the land and they have the space.
Yes, and they have the facility
and already they have the facility on the ground. Yes, because anybody that is buying fuel is the one that is buying CNG.
But can Ipman operate mother stations? Because these mother stations you're talking about are like the refining plants where they will convert this natural gas into CNG.
Yeah. Will
Ipman be able to operate? Do you have the manpower?
We have the manpower, we have the capability. So it's not a problem. Because Ipman now, we are even deciding on the way we can go about our refinery.
Okay. Do you have a license to that effect?
Yes, we have the license.
To set up your own refinery?
Yes, to set our own refinery, we have the license.
Okay, if Ipman has its own refinery, will that further crash the price of PMS?
Definitely it will crash. Even now with the coming of this Dangote refinery, you have seen, we have availability at least. Even if there is no crash in price, there is availability.
In fact, that brings us to the issue of Dangote refinery, sir, because you just said we have Dangote refinery. Recently, Dangote refinery was quoted, the chairman himself was quoted to have said that your members, independent petroleum marketers, are refusing to buy products from him. That's why there's PMS scarcity in Nigeria.
No, he didn't say independent petroleum marketers. He said marketers.
Okay, marketers.
Yes, because already he knows we have been interacting with his members to see how they can be able to accommodate us to start buying this PMS direct through him, whereby we giving a company that we are going to use so that we can start purchasing this product. But presently, up till today, we didn't start picking product direct through him.
But why, sir?
Well, in fact, it's only NNPC is the off-taker to him. So, but now, he said if we finish our formality, he will start giving us the product, which we are still waiting. But we cannot deny buying product through Dangote because it's a Nigerian refinery. At least we independent petroleum marketers, we are ready to cooperate with him and encourage him so that he can be fully in the refined sector.
So why is PMS a bit scarce today, sir?
Well, because of this change of price by the NNPCL, and we independent petroleum marketers, we have already outstanding tickets that we purchase product through them. But in the event of loading, they increase the price. So immediately when a situation like this become, we too will have to go and add the margin before they can allow us to load. And that is the reason why always we have been saying we prefer to be taking this product direct, because immediately when we buy the product, nobody will come and tell us he increased the price because we have already purchased.
NNPC didn't give any reasons to why they increased the
No,
price.
actually we didn't know the reason why they increased, but I know later they may explain the reason why they increased the price.
Okay, well, Mr. President, thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
You've said quite a lot about how we can actually improve Nigeria's economy, and I'm sure, Mr. President, that is Bola Ahmed Tinubu is watching this program. Your last words, sir, conclusively on how Nigeria can move forward.
Well, in fact,
Ipman.
my last word, what I will say to our members, they should cooperate with the present changes that they have seen so that we can at least see a situation whereby we can back the government to see that they succeeded in their programs. Because I know the present government has a foresight, so let's exercise patience and see what will happen in future.
Thank you, Mr. President. That is all on the verdict on Ipman Today. Ipman Today continues right after this short break. Don't touch your remote. You're welcome back from the verdict on Ipman Today. No doubt the national president of Ipman seems to have the magic wand on how Nigeria's economy can be improved. And he's optimistic, of course, very optimistic, as he continues to call on all marketers across the country to keep hopes alive and stick to the policies of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Right now, I'll take you to the conversation I had with Yusuf Ipman. Now, he is the national president of the Nigerian Association of Road Transport Owners. Now, our conversation will center on the need to curb fuel tanker explosions in Nigeria. Let's go. Okay, welcome to this conversation. It's back to back with two presidents. I just had the conversation with the president of Ipman, and I'm here with the president of NATO. You're welcome, sir, on Ipman Today.
Thank you.
We were supposed to have this conversation last week, and you were away on official assignment concerning the issues of fuel tanker explosions in Nigeria. It's good we talk about it so we can continue to nip these ugly incidences in the bud. What do you think is usually responsible for these incidents, sir?
Let me first of all offer my condolences to the families of lost, the deceased, and those that are not well as the Jigawa State government and the federal government of Nigeria. It's very unfortunate, and like you said, we need to ensure that necessary measures are taken to nip in the bud. Now, there's general behavior in this country wherein any vehicle that has accident, whether the one that carry liquid inflammable product or not, it's like free for all, like bazaar. People will just rush and take anything.
When there's an incident?
When there's an incident. So this is one of the incidences. Now coming to petroleum product, by virtue of highly inflammable product, people should know, the drivers, the general populace, and people who are sharing the road should be wary of the fact that there is a highly inflammable product on the way, and which is subject to anything. Now, we expect that the National Orientation Agency, the federal government, and ourselves too, will sensitize our members owners, we sensitize drivers, and similarly the general public. Be wary of highly inflammable product loaded on the street, especially now that most of the roads are not in very good condition. We're in a very terrible shape.
In terms of roads?
In terms of road condition. However, I am not saying the federal government is not trying. The federal government is based on the resources available at hand. Notwithstanding, there is need to look at this road and ensure that the reasonable sanity is brought into the conditions of the road. Then also, I will not take it away from the drivers also, because sometimes you see a driver will load petroleum product and will stay in 6-7 hours on queue. There is fatigue, there is tired, and some may not even sleep overnight. They may be so many activities happen, and you come, you load, and so all these things are some of the factors. At the same time, most of our drivers are trained and retrained and sensitized and resensitized with a view to ensure that they are careful in the way they handle, especially when loaded.
So what's the way out?
The way out, one, we'll have to look at alternative sources of fueling so that it reduces our cost and we'll have more money to do so many things that were required. And this alternative is the CNG. At the same time, also the marketers whom we work for also look at the cost and maybe make some improvement in the payment, because in any case, if gradually one transporter is spiking 2-3, by the time you wake up tomorrow, you will not find anybody. And as of today, we don't have any means of distribution of petroleum product except by trucking.
By roads.
Now, if everybody is spiking, then it's unfortunate.
Thank you, Mr. President, for finding time to harness this conversation very well for us.
It's my pleasure.
Ipman Today continues right after this short break. Don't touch your remote. Very well articulated points by the national president of the Nigerian Association of Road Transport Owners. No doubt, yes, fuel tanker explosions can be nipped in the bud completely. And right now, I'll take you over to CNG Roundup by Tetraco Energy Group. I told you earlier that our guest will be Justin Eyimba, and he is the manager of technical services at the Tetraco Energy Group. His conversation with us today will center on CNG-powered vehicles and their benefits to Nigerians. But before I go over to that conversation with Justin Eyimba, it brings me delight to let you know that Tetraco Energy Group natural gas compression facility located on the Benin-Shagamu Express Road in Ogun State is now open for business. Yes, the 6.2 million standard cubic feet per day facility is being developed in 2 phases. The first phase, with a capacity of 3.1 million standard cubic feet per day, is fully operational, while the second phase is nearing completion and will be operational by March 2025. Now, this facility is strategically located and will support gas availability along Nigeria's western-southern corridor, where some of the country's biggest industrial clusters are located. In line with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's presidential CNG initiative, it will support the expansion of virtual pipeline solutions across western and southern markets, supplying gas to industries and individuals that are not connected to the gas pipelines, as well as CNG to vehicles. Now, I told you that Tetraco Energy Group are doing quite well to ensure that the presidential CNG initiative in Nigeria becomes a very, very huge success. Right now, let me take you over to the conversation with Justin Eyimba. Over to you now, Justin.
My name is Engineer Justin Eyimba. I'm the Assistant Manager Technical Services here at Tetraco Energy Group. Okay, basically, I'll mention 3 key advantages. One, like you probably know, is the cost. The cost of CNG right now, it's cheaper than the cost of PMS. So if you, in Nigeria today, if you take the average cost of PMS, which will be looking at 1,000 naira per liter, depending on where you buy, and compare it to the cost of CNG, which is rated to about 260 naira per standard cubic meter, which is the unit of CNG, standard cubic meter SCM. So for a 15-kilometer distance, you will discover that you could use a 10-liter of fuel to cover a 15-kilometer distance. And for that equivalent in CNG, you'll be covering a 150 kilometers. So looking at the cost savings, you are covering more distance at cheaper cost driving a CNG vehicle as against their PMS. So that's one big advantage. One of the major challenges is infrastructure deficits. Like we've observed, we do not have too much of auto gas infrastructure in Nigeria. And data has shown us that about now we only have a little more than 50 auto gas conversion centers across the country. That is very, very far less than what is required. So efforts need to be done to also do this. And if you look at the refill stations itself, because CNG gas needs to be available for even the auto users to be able to refill their vehicles. So unlike the gasoline, where you have the refill stations found across almost all the streets in the country, we have limited, in fact, far limited refill stations for CNG. So infrastructure deficits is a major one at the moment. Another challenge is acceptability. The populace are yet to adapt into accepting that they are going to drive a car that has a gas cylinder in it. So for our clients and in this sub-Saharan Africa, when you think about having a high-pressure gas cylinder inside of your car, the first thing an auto driver thinks of is safety. So is it safe? And I think it's a safe, and we know it's a safe. But for the populace to accept this conversion process and accept this new technology is one challenge we need to do. And efforts need to be made to create this awareness, and governments and private sectors need to come together to make sure that they drive this message of moving towards clean energy. Presently, we have built and commissioned a 3.1 million standard cubic feet per day gas plant located at Ijebu Atakabo in Ogun State. This facility also has the capacity to be expanded to 6.1 million standard cubic feet per day production. So what we're trying to achieve with that is to make sure that we're able to supply and distribute compressed natural gas within the southwest, south-south, and north-central parts of Nigeria. That alone will enable investors and people who want to invest in auto gas to be able to have compressed natural gas available for them. Also, Tetraco Energy is operating and distributing natural gas from our plants in Benin, where we are able to distribute, in addition to what we currently have, more of 40 million standard cubic feet of gas per day. This has seen us to have over 14 customers receiving natural gas from our facility, and we are leveraging on this to expand more. We are also taking this gospel of clean energy beyond the shores of Nigeria. We also plan to invest and build a 3.1 million standard cubic feet per day gas facility in Ghana and also in Equatorial Guinea.
Just as it was the time for the show to begin, this is the time where the show has to come to an end. Many thanks for watching. Remember, Ipman Today will be back same time at 10:05 p.m. next Monday on your favorite TV network, the NTA. Until then, keep watching NTA Network as they continue with their sublime broadcasting. And don't forget, Ipman Today is always there to bring you the depths of information in Nigeria's oil and gas industry. My name is Afam Okone.